virtually everything about the modern Democrat Party has been a lie. It is the Democrat Party who created the KKK after the Civil War. It is the Republican Party who fought and died to free the slaves in the Civil War. It is the Democrat Party who is the party of Jim Crow. It is the Republican Party who created welfare to help the poor. It is the Democrat Party who has promoted drug cartels after promoting prohibition, making medicines, the strongest forms of medicines, illegal and putting them in the streets, but actually making the weak forms, the plant forms, the natural tea forms, illegal, so that all that was left was the strongest forms, the concentrated forms, to put in the street. They promoted prohibition, the Democrat Party, in order to make slaves out of poor people by dumping it in their neighborhoods. And so they put people in jail for nonviolent crimes originally. That situation has turned violent now, but now they promote stealing. They say it's okay to steal because they insinuate that because the Republicans are patriotic that they supported slavery, when they're patriotic because they ended slavery, and they were always opposed to slavery. The Democrats always sanctioned slavery, so the Democrat Party has lied about that. The Democrat Party has lied about who hates women. Republicans, generally the male Republicans, the majority of them do not like living without a woman. They want to be married, and they view woman as their best friend. Not dog as man's best friend, but a woman as a man's best friend. And the Republican women in generally view a man as their best friend, and it all depends if you get your soulmate. That helps, if how well you get along. It's not true that people don't get along in marriage. They usually die with the saddest thing in their life. If one of their mates dies, that's one of the saddest moments in their life. They don't like living without their mate. The Democrat Party doesn't like to be around men or women very much. They want to teach people to be independent, and that you don't need. They call it slavery to be married. They insinuate all these things and break up the family. I'm forgetting some things, but you get the idea, though. But white supremacy comes from the Democrat Party. It partly comes from believing in evolution, but the KKK, it embodies racism. The Democrat Party has tricked people into thinking that they're not the party of white supremacy by lying and acting like the Republicans are. But their biggest trick is they promote black supremacy. They promote other kinds of supremacy. They promote false religion supremacy. They promote female supremacy instead of, and then they call it gender bigotry if you don't worship the females. That kind of, sort of, a lot of churches fall for that stuff. Mama's always right. That's not true. Mama's not always right. Sorry. But to people who are under 15, Mama's pretty much always right, but not always. But generally, you're supposed to, Mama always knows best. At that age, you have to go with Mama knows best, but that's not the case when you get older. But that's a feminist statement. It's not true, and a lot of people are brainwashed by that. And, they fall for the Mama knows how to cook thing, and then they end up worshiping all these rules. A lot of them do. A lot of people do say you have to follow the recipe book. There's the segregated society. There is the Republican side of society that has fallen for keeping all these rules, all the drug laws and all this stuff, and that's what white privilege is. It appears to be white privilege but the Democrat Party is the one that created those laws that take away people's privilege based on medicines. And so they have this in and out of jail thing. So they're still the party of slavery, and they enslave poor people. I didn't finish that point, but they enslave poor people earlier, this point, because they have enslaved poor neighborhoods with drug cartels. So they keep good people out of those neighborhoods a lot of times. And they have different methods and ways they do that. And they call it racism if you say there's drugs in black neighborhoods and stuff. And so, anyway. That's basically all I want to say. I only had 5 minutes I wanted to do.